Hello everyone. My name is Atish Jain and I am the sole team member of Team Solo Player, and this is my project which is a hybrid generative AI categorizer. Now, I always felt this problem that financial transactions are messy, like there are always transactions that cannot be tracked. There are merchant names, new merchant names always popping up. You cannot really keep the track of it anymore. And I also found out that many people also went with the same problem as I did. So I decided to create a solution for it by using all available knowledge I had. And I created this, which is a hybrid generative AI transaction categorizer, where you put in the financial transactions like this, and what it does is it has actually a three-layered approach where wait, let me just bring it up so you can also see it. Here. So when I put in the text like Domino's order 750, there are three layers. First is the merchant memory. Now there is a directory of merchants that usually pop up like Zomato, Swiggy, Big Basket, Uber. These are some merchants that you might spend on quite often. So they are already present in the merchant directory. And if a name matches that merchant directory, it automatically categorizes itself as it's the spending category. Like in this case, Zomato order 750 automatically gets categorized into food and dining because you usually order food or you dine in a restaurant using Zomato, using that concept. So what happens is in our second category for merchants which are not in our directory, what do we do about them? We have an ONNX DistilBERT model. It's a classical ML model which is trained on synthetic data. Yes, we have trained a model on synthetic data. I know. It is prone to overfitting, underfitting, that type of stuff. But no, hear me out. I have a plan. So what happens is that the model gives its prediction when I input a statement like this. See, predicted via ONNX DistilBERT classifier. Now what happens is its confidence ratio is 95.6. That is, it is 95.6% sure that he has made the right categorization, that this expenditure belongs to fuel category. The money has been spent on fuel. So what happens is, what if it's not too much sure about what the model is predicting? What do we do then? Now this is where my generative AI fallback model comes in, which is I'll show you, which is our Qwen 2.57 billion instruct parameter model. It is a 7 billion parameter model and running on only CPU. Now that is a thing to focus on because most setups today have GPUs along with them. And if you run this setup on a computer with GPU available, it will run significantly much faster and much more smoothly. This everything is running only on completely CPU because my laptop is not powerful enough. Can't do about that. So what happens is when we put in a merchant that it doesn't know. Now I left some merchants out by my choice because I wanted to show you what would happen in that case. So like if I do this, smart class monthly 750. Now smart class relates to education category. So what happens is it loads. Now since the DistilBERT model is not sure, completely sure, it is the ratio that I've set is 0.95. So like if it is more than 95% sure that he's correct, that prediction will be taken. In this case, it was not that sure, so it did a fallback to our generative AI model, and that, see, our LLM model, and he predicted with 90% accuracy, 90% belief that it is in the education category, which is correct. this expenditure does belong to the education category. This is my three-layered approach to solve this problem of categorizing financial transactions using AI. And that is how this works. My README also explains this in great detail. You can read it. But we don't want to see that all, do we? So let's move on. There are some other functionalities to this as well. So since we are categorizing them, I just turn on the backend right now. So it only has three merchants in the merchant memory. As you can see, this is Zomato 751 visit, average 750 per visit. Now it also takes its references from our history. Like I was testing it, so I put in other expenditures as well in Zomato or Bharat petrol for that example. Smart class, I tried it a lot of times, and it also gives me some stats like highest spends, lowest spends, first visit, last visit, the most recent visit, so that you can extrapolate as to how frequent or how much do you averagely spend on it. Now this is the categories dashboard, the main dashboard. This shows you like how much money have I spent. Across 25 transactions, I spent 31,379 rupees. And if you can see, this is a pie chart that shows the spread of my different categories: travel, education, groceries. Now this data was put in before when I was testing, so I put in various categories. It also, and this model, this setup, this my project currently classifies into 10 separate categories. Yes, 10. That is pretty awesome, I know, obviously. And like here in travel, this is a very good UI. And here we can see transaction delo travel agency payment. This was done through LLM. I was trying different names. Volvo 1298. I only gave it this text and it automatically categorized that the 1298 is the rupees. Or like here Trillo travel agency payment 7555. It gives me average spend transactions. I think there will be more data in the shopping category probably. No, not shopping. I think then food. Yes. So there are 7 transactions with Domino's, Sherman, Tikka, house order, Zomato, Domino's, etc. are used. So like here we can see the total spend was 4646 with across 7 transactions. Our average spend was 663 rupees. Lowest, highest spends, it shows us different trends and merchant names. Now that's not all. There is still more. Here you can see the transaction history. And now there is something really cool about this. What you'll see is when I click it, I have set up an AI insight right in the merchant history, right in the prediction history. So what happens is it looks at your past expenditures in that category with that merchant and gives you an insight based on those transactions. So like right now it's processing those transactions. Let's pick a random transaction like dominos order 450. So what happens is the AI insight will take in the previous data of my expenses on Domino's or in food and dining category and will provide me an insight based on those expenses. Like it says Domino's order 450, order categorize itself in food and dining category. There are separate 10 categories as I said before. Let's see. It takes some time because this is running on CPU only. It is not running on GPU right now because the laptop is not powerful enough. But that also goes to show like how much faster, how much cost effective it is at running. Any second now, we should see an like yeah. So it says enabling Windows on for this order which is less than food deliveries. It gives you, it seems like it's a reasonable choice within budget constraints, less than expensive, for below the average. More value for money. So it gives you an insight based on your expenditure. If I pick another one, just because we're feeling good about it, let's pick this Mintra order. Wow, it got loaded on its own. Let's pick something new. Bit2 coaching classes. Yeah, let's try this. It was also a different merchant category. Bit2 coaching classes. So it already categorized itself in education category using LLM fallback. 100% confidence. That is. Uh, he is egoistic, I guess, the LLM model. Yes, so the insight will probably load in a few seconds. Okay. This shows the stats, like the last evaluation got us a result in 26 seconds. Now look, it only gave us the result in 14 seconds. It's milliseconds, sorry, 14 seconds. Is a good investment in education, especially if you find the smart class sessions less helpful. So it again gave some insights that comes from the same LLM model. We didn't use another one. We use the same LLM model for both prediction and history prediction category by giving it a very good prompt. So that also shows my different categories. And now this is the backend part, like how different areas are working. But let's move on to the coding part. Like, yeah, we want to see that. So the front end is built with React and Vite and Tailwind CSS. Backend is built with FastAPI. AI is, I already told you, three categories: merchant directory, hybrid ONNX, and LLM model. Let's see it. In the backend, we have first we go to reasoner.py where I've given it the prompt to predict it nicely. Like I gave it some basic names in food, groceries, travel, different categories. What should be it? Where the LLM predicts, we have reasoner.py where we have given it a system prompt and allowed list. So what happens is it tries to read the words and see if there are any similar words that can relate to a meaning. For example, in case of our history in Bit2 coaching classes, what happened was there was keyword coaching, and coaching can relate to an education category. So it predicted that it must relate to our category in education. That's how it relates to stuff. Like here we can see I gave it keywords in all separate categories: food, in food, if there is burger, biryani, meal; in groceries, if there is daily needs or something like that; in fuel, shopping, purchase. There are keywords like movie, entertainment that can come into entertainment category. If it encounters words like similar to those, it will categorize them into their separate respective categories. And we also use regex here to cut short the output, because the LLM model gives us a really long output and most of it is not useful. We cut into the basic part of it, what we need. We use regex for that. There is llm.py. They all work in tandem with each other inside root LLM. This is the part that works with the prediction history part. Like here, when we click on a card, and oh yeah, and also one thing that happens is that, like you can see here, the AI insight is already loaded. Why is it already loaded? Because we already ran it once, so it maintains a cache. It doesn't do the inferences again and again on the same kind of transaction, if you know what I mean. That would really waste the resources. Like I saw this particular transactions AI insight already. It gets stored in the it gets stored locally. It is, and nothing is online. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention about this part. Nothing in this entire project is online. It is running completely local and safe. Yeah, completely locally. Everything is running right here on this laptop. And this AI insight is maintained locally for this particular transaction via Zoostand, because we don't want it to process the same kind of transaction again and again and again. That would just be a waste of our resources, right? Like we ran this part and it already saved it. However, if we click a new category, it will start predicting on its own again. Like here we can see the AI inside, it is again thinking because it is a new transaction. It does not take the name, it takes the transaction. If there is a new transaction, it will predict again even if the name is same. That's how it does it. Okay. So we were here and it trims the output. There is also feedback.py. Now what happens is, like, let's say there are some categories, there are some merchants that I would like to add in the directory. Like I'm a daily user. If I'm a daily user of this product and I go to a merchant, let's say it's a local merchant, and I buy items from that merchant 3-4 times a week. But the merchant's name is not present in the directory. So will my LLM model run every time when I try to enter its financial transactions so that it can categorize it? No, that would be just a waste of resources again. It should learn where I go and which merchants I usually visit. So I've added a method for this, and that is feedback. So what happens in this feedback is that I can input certain merchants in it on my own. I can give it certain merchants, their name, and then what would happen is, oh yeah, you can see the gas bill has been generated. So what happens is, next time I try to put in that merchant, like I put in chicken, next time I try to put in that merchant, it gets categorized in just a second. Why? Because it took it from the merchant dictionary, food and dining. Now that is what it means to be smart. Because what happens when you daily drive this product is that it will learn from you. It will learn what you like. It will grow more and more better the more you use it. Now that's smart. The more you use the product, the more merchants about you. It learns more about you. It learns more about your expenditure. It will give you more inferences based on the categories, based on the insights, merchant history, especially the categories. You will see how much you spend. How is your spending trends actually? You will be able to see them right in front of your eyes. That's a good ability to have. We can see this data, like, yeah, 1500 transactions that we showed, that the ML model is trained on is this. It was a simple CSV that I created on my own. It was just synthetic data that says basic names, so it just learns a little bit. Now this is the merchant map. This is the thing. This is the main thing that gets updated. Like all the merchants that are present are in this map. Like look, the last one was chicken food. That chicken relates to food that we entered through the feedback loop. And all these other merchants have been added in the directory by me. There is categorization, which links a particular food category with their respective synonyms. There are docs. Now comes the front end. As you can see, we have made it through React. There are different levels to it. Our page consists of the 4 pages: history, home, merge, and memory. And it is made with Tailwind, Vite, and React. So also we've also containerized our app using Docker. So if you take the project from GitHub, it will run directly from there. You'll be able to run it. The license is free to use, but you cannot use it commercially. You can make additions, you can add a adapt, remix, share, copy, but you cannot sell it. That is a limitation. This is the README file. You've already seen it, requirement.txt. And yep, that is my project. That is what I've been working on since the past 1 2 weeks solo. This amazing project with good UI. I did spend quite some time on UI, merchant memory, categories, home, history. That's all. Thank you.